Honda Cadet B final then, the next one up for you here today at Hooton Park. 6 more races on the card, and on pole position will be Max Williams in the 24. Alongside him, Charlie Eibel with Alex Lynn and James Winstanley on the second row. Rio Wardali and Riley Blakemore on row 3. Riley Sims-Ezard and Ralphie Branscombe are on row 4. Then it's Cameron Tippin and Maximus Lewis with Mason Webster and Toby Turner on row number 6. Alfie Forrester starts 13th with Red Lind alongside. Max Housigo and George Ralston are on row 8. Isaac Huburn and Joshua Owen on row number 9. Then it's Jacob Cartledge and Freddie Walmsley for your 20-kart grid. The top 8 promoted through to the A final at the end of the day. As our runners make their way through, we've obviously had a race win already out of this class with Alex Lynn taking victory in Honda Cadet Heat 2. Earlier on, though, in the day, he'd had an issue where he'd been involved in an incident and then the throttle cable snapped, hence why you're finding a driver that's had a race victory in the B final here at the Cadet Kart Championship. Into position they go then. Williams on the inside, Eibel on the outside. As everybody gets themselves into position. Drivers getting themselves all sorted. We see Ralphie Branscombe in there as well. He's had a problem because he missed one of his races because the kart had too much damage to get it out in enough time. But our 20 runners for this Honda Cadet B final. Remember the top 8 going through, so that's what we're looking for. Clear at the back of the grid. We're ready to go racing in the B final. It's a good start from Williams on pole position, and Eibel slots in behind them as well. We've got Alex Lynn and Rio Wardali as everybody makes it nicely round the first corner in this Honda Cadet B final. The timer at the top is showing 12, although I thought we were going to have a 10-minute final, so we'll see how that one pans out later on and see whether we do get a 12-minute B final, but we will see. We'll see how they go. Round the double apex left, as we've got Cameron Tipping bouncing over the curbs. Max Williams, though, sliding that 24 kart through. As we've got Toby Turner facing the wrong way in the 16 kart. He's going to spin all the way down to the end, and his chances of getting through to the B final are going to be very, very slim. You see the timer at the top, that's changed down to 10 minutes, which means that I know my onions. Williams leads from Eibel and Lynn, the top 3. Wardali, Blakemore, Sims-Ezard, Branscombe and Lewis. Lewis, the driver, in the drop zone at the moment with Tipping, Winstanley and Webster behind. So Branscombe is clear. The top 7 have broken away in this Honda Cadet B. Then we've got Max Lewis with a train of karts behind him for the final space in this Honda Cadet B final. There he is in the orange helmet, the small driver, because he is only 8 years old. Getting his head down behind the steering wheel doesn't take too much for him, as Ralphie Branscombe gets down the inside of Riley Sims-Ezard. As they head down the back straight, and Tipping has a thought of going down the inside of Lewis, as Forrester and Ralston battle it out. Eibel into second place then with Lynn, so he dropped straight across in front of Alex Lynn right at the start and did just enough to hold on to that second place, and then now has moved away. You see the field starting to spread out as Branscombe comes down the inside of Riley Blakemore into the first corner, and Ralphie Branscombe with a great move down the inside they go. He is up into 5th place behind Rio Wardali. In the background, though, it's Cameron Tipping coming down the inside of Maximus Lewis. And that's going to move Tipping up into 8th place. Lewis down into 9th. The top 8 promoted through into the Honda Cadet A final in around about an hour's time. Out to the front, though, Williams has comfortably clear. A look over the shoulder from Rio Wardali as Ralphie Branscombe comes to the inside of Wardali into the first corner. Wardali then has to go slightly wide, but Blakemore almost got too much speed down the inside and had to brake, or they almost collect the 7 cart. Now is in the background, tipping and further in the background, it looked like Mason Webster had dropped a few places behind George Ralston. At least one in that corner. We'll try and keep an eye out where that cart is, because it looked like he was on the inside with a lot further back than where he was. I think he's behind Alfie Forrester at the moment. That could have dropped him down into 13th, and he was running in 11th on the back of James Winstanley on the previous lap. Through they come though, over start finish. Williams still continuing to lead the way as we get confirmation of Branscombe getting past Wardali into this first corner on the previous lap. Wardali, another look over the shoulder on as Blakemore tries to come round the outside this time, then goes wide, and Riley Sims-Ezard is going to come through and moves up into 6th place. Blakemore down into 7th. He's still in enough of a position to get through at the end of the day, and then we've got Tipping and Max Lewis on the back. So we've got Wardali there in the white helmet and the red suit. Sims-Ezard is on the outside. Now Blakemore comes to the inside of Sims-Ezard and has the nose chopped right across him. Then he's going to have to get hard on the brakes because he has to get it stopped, and Cameron Tipping moves through down the inside. Now Blakemore's going to be back alongside as they head down towards turn 3, and Blakemore holds on by the skin of his teeth, and that could allow Max Lewis to get a run, although he's elected to go on the outside. He has to slot back into position. 5 minutes remaining, so we're at half race distance in terms of time. Then we'll add that 1 minute on, 1 lap on at the end of the race. Blakemore gets a little bit of snap oversteer into the right-hander to end the lap. Over the line they come, with Williams leading by 2 seconds. Then it's Wardali is in 5th place. This is the battle that we're currently watching at the moment, which has got Branscombe now has found the way past Alex Lynn on the previous lap up into 3rd place. So now looks like Blakemore is back down the inside of Riley Sims-Ezard. Sims-Ezard could lose at least 1 place and then slots back into position, which means he only loses 1 rather than 2. So he's done very, very well there to hold that position with Blakemore coming through. None of them, though, can appear to do anything about Rio Wardali at the moment, who is still holding them all off in 5th place. Blakemore into the slipstream. There's your race leader, Max Williams. That's Max Lewis, who was in 9th place and right on the cusp of getting into the A final. Is facing the wrong way on the outside of the first corner. He was on the back of this battle with Cameron Tipping. Not quite sure why Lewis was round, but he was frustrated and hitting the steering wheel. Sims-Ezard sweeps right the way round the outside of Riley Blakemore. What a move from Riley Sims-Ezard in the 43. Blakemore just didn't get the drive, and Riley Sims-Ezard shows immense confidence to sweep all the way round the outside. Branscombe now up, trying to get past Charlie Eibel, and does so. He's up into 2nd place. Eibel drops down to 3rd, but both of them still inside the top 8. Now it's Cameron Tipping right on the edge of that top 8. However, George Ralston is 2 seconds back in 9th place, and with only 3 minutes remaining, I'm not sure whether he's going to have the lap-on-lap pace to close that in. Looking at his last one, he was 2/10 slower than Tipping. So as long as the top 8 don't get involved with each other too much, in terms of, granted they want to maximise their position for the final, the further forward you finish in this one, the further forward you are for the final. The leader in the race will start in 21st place and then down into 22nd and 23rd respectively. However, if you go to try and make up 1 place and drop outside the top 8, then you are going home early, I'm afraid. At the moment, it's Williams, Branscombe, Eibel, Lynn, Wardali, Tipping, Blakemore and Ralston. Your top 10. We've got a driver drop down. Riley Sims-Ezard, who made that fantastic overtake a few laps ago, has dropped outside of the top 8, loses 9 places down into 15th. And this is what we were saying a few moments ago. about drivers getting too involved in this B final and potentially throwing away an opportunity to move through and progress into that A final in around about an hour's time. Now we've got tipping on the back of Rio Wardalley with Riley Blakemore dropping down into 7th. Ralston is in 8th place. Behind him we've got Jacob Cartledge, who's come through from right on the back row in 19th place, where he started, to be on the cusp of getting into the A final is Jacob Cartledge in the number 9 in the 73 kart. They're around about a second or so off the back of the battle that we've been focusing on for most of this race. There they are in the background. You can just see them coming into shot with the white helmet and the green suit on George Ralston, the blue suit, green kart on George Ralston. But now all of those drivers are right back in the mix for getting through into the A final. Ralston currently the driver there as he runs very, very wide, bouncing over the curb. Jacob Cartledge behind. But then we can't really discount Winstanley, Forrester, Webster, Lind as well coming through. Wormsley's not too far back either. There's Rio Wardalley still in 5th place, is holding on with Cameron Tipping. Blakemore then in 7th. He's was on the back of this one, but now Ralston and Riley Blakemore turned round by George Ralston at the final corner, and Riley Blakemore drops all the way down to 14th place. As then we see Mason Webster trying to get through as well down the inside. That's going to lose him a place, I think, to Red Lind. And a race that looked like the top 8 were just clear for going through to the A final was turned on its head early doors with Riley Sims-Ezard dropping down into 15th. Then Riley Blakemore, who's run comfortably inside the top 8 throughout, turned round by George Ralston in the final corner. Ralston, though, now running in 7th, tipping in 8th. Winstanley is up there as well. As you know, we've got Cartledge right on the back in 8th place. So these are your drivers that are going through at the moment. Cartledge, the driver in the bright yellow helmet, off the back of this one. He's currently in 8th place. He's going to be the final driver to make it through in this Honda Cadet B final into the A, as long, and this is a big as long, everybody keeps it on the black stuff, because we thought Sims-Ezard was going through and he's had an off. We thought that Blakemore was going through. He's had a spin as well. And it's really not going to be over until the checkered flag here. Ralston getting very, very racy on the back of Rio Wardalley. That's going to back him into Jacob Cartledge. And the rest of the field has come as well to join the back end of this one. Now we've got Tipping, I think, down into 8th place. The final driver at the moment to make it through as the last lap board is out for Max Williams. We're not bothered about the first 7. As long as it stays there, they're going through. It's the driver in 8th place that we need to worry about, because that is the final driver to make it through into the Honda Cadet A final. And we've got a driver off on the outside. Let's see who's missing. That is the 13 of Red Lind on the outside. And then we've got Winstanley's off as well. I think he's had a failure of something there. He's looked back in because that car just did not stop. Whew. Let's take a breath. Half a lap to go. Your leaders are already through. Williams is through. Branscombe and Eyeball are through. Lynn is through. Wardalley is going to come through for 5th place. Then it's going to be a drag race to the line with everybody else. Wardalley's going to be in 5th. Ralston, Cartledge and Cameron Tipping, the final driver to make it through to the Honda Cadet A final, with Forrester, Wormsley, Webster, Blakemore, Lewis, Winstanley. Then it's Sims-Ezard, Housego, James Winstanley, with Red Lind classified probably as a lap down now. He was off on the previous lap, although I think he will come through, I think, to take the checkered flag in a few moments' time, behind Isaac Huburn, Toby Turner, and then we've got Joshua Owen as well. An all-action Honda Cadet B final. If the A final is anything like that, you're going to want to stick around for another hour or so for that one.